Welcome into a special edition of Rebound Off the Net inside the Louisiana Voodoo as we preview the Voodoo's 2024 season. I'm your host, Joshua Cox. The Voodoo are a startup franchise that will build off the legacy of the former AFL team, the New Orleans Voodoo, played in the AFL from 2004 to 2015. They will reside in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and play in the South Division, which includes the Orlando Predators, Desert Hawks, and Georgia Force. They'll be led on the football field by Louisiana native head coach James Shiver, who joins us now to talk about his Voodoo team. Coach, welcome back.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks, man. I'm happy to be here.
Coach, last time we talked to you, you've just been announced as a team. Give us some updates on the franchise, how the community of Lake Charles has responded to bringing back the legacy team.
Well, Lake Charles is a real fun place. A lot of fun things to do in Lake Charles, and so I go to a lot of this stuff and go out there, and I always have, even before they were bringing the Voodoo back. But now, whenever I go places like some of the casinos are like, "Oh, hey, Coach, what's up, Coach?" They all want to talk to the football team, man. So there's a big buzz. Our social media is pretty good too, and a lot of people see us on social media. So, in the new age, TV is all streaming services pretty much down here. There's not a lot so when people are like, "Oh, hey man, why aren't y'all buying some commercials?" No, nobody ever says that because we're all streaming TV. So it's like, "Hey man, I see you on social media all the time. How's it going?" Or they introduce themselves, or we talk Voodoo football, or the other day I passed by the Harley Davidson place and they were doing a Toys for Tots, but it was Easter baskets. And so whenever I passed by, I was just going by to look at some Harley Davidsons. Next thing I know, I end up staying there for 2 hours talking to Voodoo. So it's been good, man. I mean, it's good all over town. People know who we are. People sending us stuff. I went by Outfitters. Outfitters sells our merchandise, and he said, excited, man. He said the city's excited. So it's been good.
Yeah, y'all are going to have the most home games in the league with 7 this year. You think that gives you a big competitive advantage?
I think it gives us an advantage. Number one, so like every year in high school football, I coach high school football also, and I try to buy all my home games. If I could have 10 home games, I would. Yes, it does give us a competitive advantage, and plus, for players, whenever you don't have to go fight at the airport to fly over here and go over there, our first away game is Seattle. It's already, I say Seattle, it's Everett, it's Washington, right? And so we've already set up the flights and we've already done, that's all taken care of, and so we're sitting there thinking, man, we gotta get to Houston and we gotta go from Houston there. It's just, I'd rather play at home, man. There's no hassle. You have a real plan at home. We know where we're going to eat pregame meal at. It's a lot better whenever you're at home, whenever you have to go somewhere for work,
Absolutely. Coach, you got 4 games on the NFL Network. 2 of them will be at home. What does that mean, putting your community on the national stage?
I don't even know if our community knows what that means yet. I think it's going to be amazing. Look at what the national stage did for TV shows like Pawn Stars and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I went to Las Vegas. There's a line down the street waiting to get in there just to check out the pawn shop, just from the movie. Now they had a whole TV series. We only have 4 games, but I think we'll have more games than that once the playoffs start. I'm pretty sure our team's going to be in there.
Coach, we're doing this the first week of camp. What is your message for the team as you enter camp?
Win. That's our message. We assembled this team to win it all in year 1. We have an all-star team of players. I like whenever people say, "Hey, listen, your coaching staff just don't have enough AFL experience." Well, we got John Fourcade, who was in the league whenever they played for the Miami Hooters. He played for the Miami Hooters whenever they played. We have Damon Mason, the all-time leading tackler in history, defensive history of the AFL. We have another coach we're going to announce tomorrow who's a Hall of Famer in the NFL. Just saying, we have a ton of experience. Players want to play for those guys. We got Gabe Northern, who played for the Buffalo Bills, and I saw a couple of guys on the national stage says, "Man, they got a couple of high school coaches." We do have a couple of high school coaches that coach, but guess what? They've been coaching, and they're coaches. They're not guys who played and think they can coach. I think we're gonna be fine.
Coach, if you would introduce us to all your coaching staff.
Okay, yeah. I have all my stuff. I keep a lot of notes, man. I'm very OCD. So, of course, we have Ted Robinson, who played for me years ago. Ted was a quarterback for me. I recruited him from Tupelo, Mississippi. He played for the Fire Ants. Originally, he played at California San Labisco. He played for the Steel Dogs in the old AF2. Ted's been a traveler, man. He was all over the place. But he actually played for me in Lake Charles. I recruited him there, and ended up being that first year he was there. He met a girl, got married, had some kids. He's been there ever since. Whenever I took the job back, one of the first guys that hit me up on text messages was Ted, and I brought Ted in. I got Phil. Phil. So Phil's last name is Chartier. He's the equipment manager for McNeese State University. He's going to be our equipment manager also. He's a great guy, man. He's super energetic. He's jumping around at practice. Anyway, it's great to have somebody to take care of your gear, especially on the road and at home. I mean, Phil's going to do a great job. He does a great job for McNeese. He's going to do a great job for us. Gabe Northern, Gabe. Like I said, he was a captain for LSU for years. He was the only bright spot in the '90s. One of the few bright spots for LSU. Got drafted, played for the Buffalo Bills for a while. He's my pass rushing expert. Let's see, I have Chris Hemphill. Chris Hemphill, he's from the West Coast. Chris played at Washington. He is our defensive coordinator. Chris is good, man. I put him in charge of player personnel, and he does a great job recruiting. He's been at the UFL practices in Dallas for the last couple weeks, and we've picked up a couple players from there. So Chris does a great job, man. I don't know if we could do it without Chris. Paul Orr is from Boise, Idaho. Paul helped out with the Boise Burn. Paul helped out with some of the other indoor leagues. He did semi-pro in Boise and everything else. I met Paul at an high school All-American game. I was the coach for it. And I talked to him and I said, hey, man, how would you like to make less money and work harder than you ever did before? And sure enough, he moved to Louisiana and he had a great time. He come and worked for me for a couple of years. Now he's in Galveston, Texas. But I got Paul on our staff, a great O-line coach. And, he's going to enjoy our offensive line because I think I know we're very solid on the offensive line. Cade LeBlanc. Cade works for me at St. Edmund. Cade is a young coach. He does a great job for us. He's one of my offensive coaches at St. Edmund. But over here, he's going to be our substitution coach. You know how vital that is in arena ball. You don't substitute right, your touchdowns come back, or their touchdowns come back. Well, his only job is to make sure the team stretches and to make sure the other team doesn't sub wrong and we don't sub wrong. Which I think this is a great job for him and a great job for us. Man, Corey Diaz, he's like my right hand man in life, man. I'll tell you what, Corey Diaz does a great job for us. He does sales for the team on the other side, on the front office side. But man, when I tell you any kind of paperwork you need, Corey's right there on it, man. I mean, I couldn't. I don't know, our coaching staff's going to be great, and Corey's going to be great to help us there. And I put him in charge of special teams, and, he's been all over those rules and all the little quirky rules. You know how arena ball has some weird rules with the deuce and the rouge and everything else, so he's doing that. John Forcade, hey, listen, can't ask enough for John Forcade. John's been around forever. We were talking about he played for the Miami Hooters. 13 years of coaching experience and 12 years of different indoor spring leagues. He played for the Saints. He's been around. He's been around the state of Louisiana for a long time. Everybody knows him. He came here the other day and we spent hours working on our playbook. John's just a great asset for us. And then, like I said earlier, Damon Mason, all-time leading tackler. And we have one more guy that we haven't announced yet, but it's coming tomorrow, and I don't want to spoil it.
That's good. Coach, you've been a head coach for a long time. Tell us about what a game week looks like for you, and how do you lead your coaching staff in a game week?
Well, so let's say it's a travel week in the indoor arena leagues, and we would like to. We had played the weekend before. We're probably going to be taking off on Monday. Maybe doing a lot of therapy. We have a cryogenics that we use in Lake Charles this year. We have a weight room, health club that they use. So it's a recovery day on Monday. This is a typical game week. Tuesday we're going to be practicing in that, late afternoon. I like to practice around 6:30 to 8:30, and the reason I like to do that is because I have a lot of media, like the news can come out, the TV station, whoever wants to, interview our guys can come and interview them before that or interview them at practice. I like that. Then they can go straight to the news and have it on the news at night. We go 6 to 8:30 Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights, usually a cleanup, kind of walkthrough / practice. Friday we're probably getting on an airplane, and Saturday we're playing. Sunday we're flying back and starting all over again the next week. Now on a home week we usually get together on a Friday for some kind of promotional thing, and it usually is like if it would be a home game that Saturday, we would get together on a Friday for, maybe at a restaurant somewhere that, was going to feed the team and, do like a little fun thing and probably sign some autographs and things like that. You know how it is in the community. You got to sign autographs and meet people.
Coach, give us your thoughts on the league and how it's shaped out as we enter year one in the AFL.
Oh man, I really think I was reading. I'm a big memes guy. The guy watch all the things, read all the things on Facebook and stuff. And I came across one that was talking about Colonel Sanders and he started KFC, right? And he said, hey, it's never too late to live your dream. He was 61 or 65 or something like that whenever he started KFC, right? So maybe things could have been prolonged and they could have taken a whole year to start the league, and it might have been a little bit more organized than it is right now, But listen, you got to start your dream when you want to start your dream, and Lee Hutton did that. And listen, I mean, I'll tell you what, we're back in business. We're blowing and going, and all the naysayers out there, I think they need to catch their breath. Everything he said he's going to do, he's done. And it might not have been as as illustrious or pretty that they wanted it to be done, but it's been done. The BSN deal, the TV deals. I mean, all that came out and it's done. And the arena football name, it carries a lot of weight, man. I mean, people might, and I understand it's almost like wrestling. It's funny. Indoor football, arena football is almost like wrestling. If you would watch the fans on Facebook, they would act like these two leagues hate each other. I'm friends with a lot of coaches in the indoor leagues. We don't hate each other. What crushed wrestling for me was whenever I walked in Georgie Porgy's at the Hilton in New Orleans and I saw Ric Flair eating with Dusty Rhodes, and I'm like, what's going on, man? You know what I mean? And so I knew it must have been scripted after that, right? Because they're friends. They don't really hate each other. So, like just the other day I was talking to Coach Gibson in Jacksonville. So it's like, I don't find that, I find the fans making a bigger deal out of it than anybody. And it's just, I think it's a good timing. I think the Arena League did some good things, man.
Yeah, glad to have it back. Let's look at your division, Coach. Orlando Predators, Desert Hawks, Georgia Force. What's your thoughts on the division?
Yeah, toughest division in the league. No doubt in my mind, I don't know a lot about Georgia. I know that we're trying to get them here for a scrimmage on the 20th of April, but only a controlled scrimmage. I don't want to be inside the arena. Honestly, I'm using that for my cut game. After we finish the game Sunday morning, there's going to be red flags in the lockers, and some of the guys are going to be going. So that's what I'm trying to get them down here for. But I do know Orlando's a traditionally historic, great franchise. They haven't been as good lately. I mean, in the NAL, they weren't very good. But, I mean, that doesn't mean they're not going to be good this year. They got a great coach, and they got a good group of players, and I think they can be very good. Players want to play for Orlando. It's like wanting to play for the Chicago Bears. I mean, it's just a good story, good franchise. And West Texas got a really good coach, man. Can't take anything away from him. I kind of thought they had bugged my phone at the beginning of the year because everybody I was trying to call, they were calling. I was like, man, what's going on? They're recruiting every player I'm recruiting. So I know they're going to have a good team, man. I will tell you this, all the players that decided to go there and not here, I hope all you see in is desert and all over there is going back and forth, man. I mean, there's a lot more stuff to do in Lake Charles, and we're going to win too. So just to say, I could see, a couple of our teams from our division getting in the playoffs. I mean, they got some good stuff going on here.
Yeah, really tough division, that in the East both. Coach, we're getting to specific players here in a second. Tell us about the makeup of your roster, putting that together. I know you all wanted to get a lot of Louisiana guys, so how did that shape out overall?
It shook out well, man. I mean, I think we did that. We did everything we wanted to do. We got the Louisiana guys, for the most part. We did lose a couple to West Texas. We lost a couple to Orlando, a couple to Albany. But for the most part, we kept the local talent in state. And then we turned around and, we built our team. I guess we built it, inside out, I guess, because we built it with linemen first. We knew who we wanted as our quarterbacks. We targeted them from the beginning, got both of them. And then we also knew, we had a clue. We said, listen, the line is what wins the game, offensive and defensive lines, and we built it. We went out and we're still building the line. We picked up a UFL guy last week. So just to say, I mean, we wanted that first. We spent the most money on the offensive line, and then we started on our defensive specialists, because defense wins championships. And then, we're still picking up offensive guys, but for the most part, we have the ones we want. And it's we have a great team.
Here in a couple of weeks, you're going to have to make some cuts. What's going to be the cut line for you, and what's going to make the difference between the guy that makes the team and the guy that doesn't for you?
So we report on the 13th. There's a rule you can only have so many practices before you have your first game, and so we report on the 13th of April. Okay, and we have a meeting set up on the 14th with all the players. And my first thing I'm gonna tell them is, listen, you give me 90% at practice, you're gonna make my job real easy on who I'm cutting. You better give me 100% every day, or else we're gonna find somebody that will. And listen, this league pays enough that there's players lined up. You know what I mean? It's funny. Oh, this player would never leave this league. Dude, listen, I've gotten phone calls from everybody. I get emails. I still get emails at night. I'm like, I almost have to go hide my email address because there's so many of them I can't even open up the ones I need to find. So there's players looking to make that money and to make that jump. So I don't know, man. I mean, it's gonna be hard to me. I hope it's the hardest thing I've done is to cut down to 24 players. You know what I mean? That's what I hope it is.
Yeah, make some tough decisions. Now let's start diving into the roster, coach. We'll start the quarterback position. I know you got Chase Forcade, Andre Sale. Tell us what about the quarterback position and where that's at right now.
So Chase Forcade, I think, is the all-time leading passer in college football history in the state of Louisiana. Played at a small school at Nicholls State University. Played a little bit for the Columbus Lions in the indoor league. And he's just been around for a long time, man. Everybody knows him in Louisiana, and Lake Charles, McNeese is king. He beat McNeese several times. Everybody in Lake Charles knows him. Now, Andre has been, he's been a guy that's played a lot of indoor ball. He's been around. He played in Tulsa a little bit last year. He's played in New Mexico. Great dude, hard worker. He's ready to come in and fight for a position. And like I saw one thing rated him number 2 quarterback in the league. I don't know if he is or not. Who knows? These preseason ratings can be anything you want. It's more of a celebrity contest than anything. I think we have the 1 and 2 quarterback in the league. And I'm approaching it that way. And I like to see what we have.
Yeah, going to be a good competition in camp. Yes. Coach, we'll go to the backfield now, that fullback position. I know I've talked to a lot of different coaches. They're going to use it in different ways. The AFL has traditionally been a pass-heavy game. How do you view that? And kind of flip that over to the linebacker position, too, as they play both ways usually.
Yeah, well, we do have have several guys. We have Kerry Starks. We have some other guys that's done both before. Kerry did it for Albany. He's been very good at that position. But I'm not gonna tell you who's gonna be the starter because, like I said, you're gonna have to earn it. Everything on this team is earned. We went out and got you because we thought you could be a starter, and you're gonna earn it when you get here. One way or the other. But Kerry has already taken a high school coaching job around our area. You know what I'm saying? Like he's committed. He's in. I think he's gonna be all right. He also plays defensive line. There's just been. A lot of guys and all of our guys, this is what's good about our team. We didn't recruit a team of rookies. Everybody's a veteran. They've played both ways before. They've actually played in the NAL when they went that both ways, and they know the rules. And so it's that's one reason I think we're fine with the practices before the first game because all of our guys have played. This is not something that we're coming in to teach the indoor game. And listen, I see some of these arena team coaching staffs, and they have a run game coordinator. I don't know if you watch a lot of arena football, but there's not a lot of a running game. You don't want that. It's like being the third string kicker on the bench, right? You're not going to get a lot of reps on that deal. Anybody that wants to come out and run the ball, there's 2 linebackers in the box in arena football. It's not the same as the indoor game. So you're going to come out to run the ball against 2 linebackers, and it's going to be a lot different.
Yeah, always been a pass-heavy game. Mm-hmm. Let's go to the receiving core. Who are your big play guys going to be back in the receiving core?
Well, I've still got 1 or 2 we haven't signed yet, but we have a bunch of really good big play guys. Like I said, I don't want to give one that's going to be ahead of the other ones. I can tell you a couple of guys' names, but just nobody I want to throw out there just yet. Like I said, I want everybody to have their shot to earn it. But there is some guys. Jashawn Washington. Jashawn has been around for a long time. He's also from New Orleans. He plays wide receiver and linebacker. Some of these guys, it's just been, Juju Augustine. He's a kick returner and a wide receiver. Thyron Lewis played at. Thyron's been around for a long time. Thyron's very good. Thyron's been really really good. But all of our guys, man. I mean, just we have right now we have 6 wide receivers on the roster, and like I tell every one of them, I don't know who the specialist is going to be yet. You got to earn it, and I know that we will have one that earns it. I mean, it's just my big thing is, I guess players win games. You know what I mean? And my job is just to make sure I manage it and don't mess it up. And so whenever all those guys get to camp, it's going to be a competition, but a fun competition. We know what we got.
Okay, Coach, we'll move on to O-line, D-line. A lot of those guys are going to play both ways. How's that shaking out, and what are the challenges been to recruiting guys to play both ways?
Man, honestly, it wasn't as hard as you think, man. I mean, there was some guys that we picked up right away, like Torrey Boyd. Torrey Boyd played in the USFL. I mean, there was a bunch of those guys right away. Tyron Arsenault. Tyron was at Nickel State. Was supposed to be going to Orlando, and we ended up talking him into staying with us. But he's the high school football coach at St. Augustine. Where the Honey Badger and all them played high school football at. Let's see who else we got. We got Eric Juno. Eric is one of the biggest humans I might have ever seen. You know what I mean? He played at where he played at. Eric was I think he played at Southern. Yeah, Eric played at Southern. But he's huge, man. I mean, some of these guys are huge. D-line guys, we got Mason Newton, really good guy I think he was in New Mexico last year. A lot of our guys all have experience, man. We just have a bunch of solid guys.
Move to the defensive backfield, Coach. I know Sheldon Augustine, Thyron Lewis, Eric Thomas. Tell us a little bit about your defensive backfield.
Well, they're all listen. Our defensive backfield is solid. We have Eric McIntosh played for Jacksonville last year. We got like you said, Sheldon Augustine. We got tons of guys, man. I mean, I'm sitting here looking and I'm like, who do I cut? There's just so many. It's like an all-star list, man. And hopefully, our list doesn't, we don't get rid of none of our guys. We got Trevin Juno. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we got everybody. I just feel like, I'm looking at our list and I'm thinking, man, when I see these other people posting pictures from their camp, they don't have one of these guys on it. You know what I mean? So that makes me feel good. I sleep good at night,
Good problem to have.
Yes.
Last position, Coach, your kicker. Tell us about your kicking situation, special teams.
Well, we had Stevie Ortigue, but Stevie couldn't sit still. He had to go play ball somewhere, so he went and left and went to San Diego. So we actually have 2 guys that they haven't signed their contracts yet, so I don't want to say their names. But one of them was an All-American, 2-time All-American in Division I school, and the other one has some experience playing indoor ball. Both of them are from the area. I like to stay local with my kickers, and one reason why is, I don't need them at practice every day. I mean, a kicker's not the same, they're a little different usually than most other guys. I remember playing with Matt Herkamp in indoor ball. Matt would just miss the plane. He would be standing there with us 1 second, the plane's going to leave, and he's not there. He's gone the next second. So kickers have their own thing going on. I know they're a necessity, man. You got to have them. If you want to win, you got to have the best one. But man, sometimes they're a little different. And I'm gonna find a guy that can, that's friends with the kickers and make sure they make it on the plane. But yeah, it's gonna be it'll be an adventure.
Yeah, Coach. When you look at your roster, who's a name or maybe even 2 names that fans will know by the end of the season they don't know now?
Oh, they're gonna know either Andre Sell or Chase Forkade by the end of the season because, like you said, we're gonna be a pass-heavy team, 97, 98% passing. I think they're going to know whoever our offensive specialist ends up being, they're going to know that. You know what I mean? Because that guy's going to catch a ton of touchdowns. And our defensive specialist also because, I just feel like we're a really good man coverage team. And I feel like, we're going to take away a lot of those deep passes that have given so many people so many problems. and we're a defense first team. I mean, between Chris Hempill running the defense and Damon, being an analyst, being on our account to watch the films and to sit there and help him break down and make plans. I mean, they've been part of some great defenses in the past, and I know they're going to put together a great scheme.
Coach, what's your plans for camp, and what do you plan to do for camp?
Well, the first day on the check-in day on the Thursday, I mean on the Saturday, we're gonna check in. Sunday is gonna be like a media day. We're gonna do a national media day. Got a guy working on it right now. I'd like to have you do it. You know what I mean? Like we do a virtual media day sort of. We'll do hopefully our jerseys are in. They were shipping them to us from Minnesota. We'll have that, like, the guys try on their uniforms, set up everything. And then we have like a team meeting that night, basically just going over the rules, our housing rules, what you can and can't do, what you should and shouldn't do, well, listen, these are all grown men and professional athletes. They kind of have a great idea of what that's going to be like. Whenever that's over with, we're gonna feed them good because hopefully that's at one of the casinos in town. That meeting is all gonna take place there. The dancers are gonna be there. Kind of blow it out. That first night, get them fed, get them home because we're gonna start practice on Monday. So when they wake up on Monday, we're gonna show them the cryogenics place, where it's at, how to use it. Show them the weight rooms. Take them on like a little tour. Show them, what the rules for the cryogenics, rules for the weight rooms, the rules for everything, and then how to use it, what to do with all of it, physical therapy places, everything like that, and then we'll start practice Monday afternoon. And we'll go that whole week, and hopefully Georgia comes in that weekend, and we have a great, 2 or 3 control scrimmages, make our cuts on Sunday morning, and then the next week is game week. It's Philadelphia, so we'll probably go 4 days that week of practice, but during all these practices, the cryogenics place is going to be huge for us because it's going to give our muscles recovery time back. One thing he was telling me was it's 33% faster on recovery once you do cryogenics. Which, look, I walked in the machine and it was snowing inside the machine. I was like, man, this is unbelievable, right? It doesn't snow in Louisiana too often, but so he's been great, and that's going to work out awesome. So I want to set them up right away with that and get them on it because some of these athletes have never used that technology, and that's how they're keeping players healthy. 10 weeks with no bye week is a long time. And so, we got to pace ourselves. You can't just take off sprinting. But I will say this, on the 27th, I know Grade Network is airing our game. I had heard from KPLC last night, and they can pick it up or can't pick it up. It's up to them. And they've already decided to pick it up because they were super excited about the opening game. So I just expect it to be a huge experience, a different kind of atmosphere than anybody's used to in Lake Charles. Kind of like a Magnice in the playoff kind of atmosphere, and and just blow it out.
Yeah, Coach, you got a message for the fans or the rest of the league you want to get out?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna put the rest of the league on notice. We're coming, just like Deion Sanders did. You know what I'm saying? But we're not rebuilding an 0-12 team. We're coming. And for the fans, get ready, man. Buckle up. Put on your seatbelt. We're going to put the best product possible on the field. We have the racehorses to win the race. And, we're going to ride them racehorses, man, and get on their back and go with it. One old coach told me a long time ago when I first started, he said, you can't make chicken salad out of chicken poop. And it's true. We don't have chicken poop, though. We got a lot of chicken in our kitchen right now, and best quality we got. So I'm pretty excited about that. I feel like our team is headed in the right direction, and I just want the fans to get out there and get behind us. And I just feel like if they come out and they see it one time, they'll be there the rest of the season.
This has been a special edition of Rebound Off the Net inside the Louisiana Voodoos. We preview the Louisiana Voodoos 2024 season. I'm your host, Joshua Cox. We'll be back with you again before you know it. In the meantime, always remember, catch the rebound off the net.